Hey everybody, I'm Jen and I believe in ghosts. Okay, so it has been a minute since I uploaded a video. Things have obviously been crazy. If they haven't been crazy for you, I think you might be Patrick Starr. So the last time I recorded video, I was planning my march in my bullet journal, getting ready to head to Orlando for the International Conference for the Fantastic in the Arts. And perhaps most importantly and or remarkably, we were all allowed outside kind of anytime we wanted. But things are a little different now. It is the beginning of April, as you can tell from my calendar right here. And the conference was canceled, just like many other events and bars around the world. So I ended up not going. And we have been to the hospital with Seb twice. Once because he caught a version of RSV, and once because he caught a cold. I kid you not, he had a rhinovirus, which is a cold. And it's not something you can cure. It's just something you can put a little baby on some oxygen and wait for him to sort of get better. Surrounded by doctors and nurses. The last day of our second inpatient situation was the day that Maryland started shutting down schools and banning people from going out and doing things. So that was a cool, anxiety-ridden time of, like, kind of balancing being in the hospital because it was the best place for Seb and being home because it was the best place for Seb. Because coronavirus happened, and it happened fast. You either know the news or you don't, and that's kind of up to you. But I do think it's important to tell you all to stay home and wash your hands and take things seriously, and you shouldn't have to wait for, like, an official politician to tell you that this is a serious situation, because it is, and it's only going to keep getting worse if we keep finding loopholes around rules that are already in place. So taking care of yourself, making sure that you're staying home and staying out of those big high-risk situations is doing something for your community. That's my soapbox, and I'm going to go ahead and step off of it, and I'm hoping that you're watching this from home with clean hands and, you know, like, doing everything you can to help protect your community. So that's kind of catching us up to this point. The problem, of course, now is moving forward. April is unpredictable. We can't know what's going to happen moving forward. We have no idea whether this is going to be over in a month or over in 6 months or over in a year, or if this is our new normal. There's no way to tell right now. And so it's very difficult, especially for someone who was already working from home and who is self-employed, to make decisions about how to move forward and how productivity is going to look from now on. I was planning on sort of adding an April plan with me to this video, and I sat down to do that and realized I have no idea what my next month is going to look like. I have both kids at home, and my husband is still working 5 days a week, which means that I am full-time parenting and also trying to keep Flo up with the things that she was doing when she was in daycare. It's a lot more than I was doing before. And it's not something I'm trained to do. It's not something I can just inherently know. I've been doing some research and asking friends and family that work in childcare to make sure that I am prioritizing the right things, which is why right now all we're really worrying about is staying on a schedule. She can watch the SpongeBob movie on Amazon Prime as many times as I want. Because the most important thing that her teachers and her school administrators are kind of emphasizing for those of us that had to take our kids out of daycare is keeping them on that schedule and making sure that they're ready to return to that sort of regimented times of the day when they return to school. The other thing, of course, is making sure that the house is clean, making sure that anytime we go out for groceries, anytime that we go out for things that we need to bring back in, they get wiped down and washed before they go anywhere in the house. They get Clorox wiped. If we go out and we touch things and we come home, we all change and take showers and make sure that we are putting those clothes into laundry baskets and that they're being separated. But it's a lot more than we used to do. Pretty much everything about our lives, and probably yours too, has changed, even though I was working from home before. I saw something on some social media app that was essentially describing the situation this way. You are not working from home right now. There is a pandemic during which you are home trying to work. But as much as I would love to take this time and be the most productive little work from home writer on the planet, it's probably not going to happen. So I need to be realistic about my goals. April is Camp NaNoWriMo, and I would love to sit down and write 50,000 words this month, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I think if I try to make it happen, I'm just going to stress myself out, which might make me sick and unable to take care of everyone around me, which I am doing right now. Instead of trying to hit a word goal for a project I haven't even really picked yet, or trying to return to my Stranger Things paper and get back into that research for things I can't pick up from the library, and being able to get in that headspace that I can no longer kind of snuggle back into because I can't leave the house in order to get any work done. Instead, I sort of started looking towards the media that I can consume and the output that I can make sure happens, which is kind of using the streaming services that we already have access to or borrowing logins from friends and family to watch new movies, watch new TV shows, sort of get to the things that have been on my to-watch list for forever, and kind of kick back and watch those while the kids are napping. And thankfully, the school has the kids take a 2-hour nap every day, which means that we have about a 2-hour chunk, when we're very lucky, where both kids are napping, and we can either watch a movie or play Animal Crossing or get some laundry folded. I keep saying we because my sister is home with me all the time now. She was working at a cafe, and while that cafe is still open, and she is technically still an essential worker, because of Sebastian's condition, she's not going into work anymore. So I had written out a couple of my longer term goals before this all started, and one of them was to join the Cat Writers Association, which feels so trivial right now. Like trying to write about cats and taking care of cats, which obviously is not trivial. The people that are doing animal welfare work right now are amazing and are not getting anywhere near as much recognition as obviously the medical field. So if you know a vet or a vet tech, thank them for their work. But as a person who is just writing and not a person who is a vet or a vet tech, my topics are things like, should you be bathing your cat? How to take care of a cat that lives in your backyard. All things that feel very silly and not important. So it's very difficult to motivate myself to sit down and write about those things or pitch them to an editor when all of this other stuff is going on. Kind of similarly with my Stranger Things paper, and definitely similarly with the fanfiction challenge that I joined, it's really hard to sit down and think about things that are either semi-trivial or really entertainment-based, incredibly trivial, just fun, as important right now. But even as I'm saying this, I realize they kind of are, because the things that we're turning to frequently are Animal Crossing, or watching movies on TV, getting to watch Frozen 2 3 months early on Disney+. Things like that are pretty important right now. So, I don't know. Maybe I should write some fan fiction. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is socializing while social distancing. Because checking in with each other and making sure that you still maintain your relationships with your friends and family is incredibly important. You can sort of text friends or send them a good old-fashioned letter or postcard. Or, on the other side of things, you can put together a little Zoom party and you can play Jackbox games, or you can do movie watching parties. The Beetlejuice on Broadway people actually hosted a live listening party on YouTube today, which was super fun, and had like a little live chat going on in the side, and they just played the soundtrack on YouTube for a bunch of people to tune in and listen and like answer Q and A's, which was super cute, and I love that. And so just kind of keep an eye out for little opportunities like that, and if you can foster an opportunity like that at any point, do it. Make sure that you're still maintaining those friendships and talking to people, and you know, not only checking in with others, but also sort of checking in with yourself. That wraps up this week's video. It's not very instructive and it doesn't have a lot of information because there's not really a lot of information to be had. We're all figuring out what our new normal is going to be and for how long we're going to have to maintain that. So don't be too hard on yourself while you're doing that for you and for the other people that rely on you in your life. And try to find something you appreciate about each day. I still have to learn how to do that. But for today, it's my DuckTales mug. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button wherever it is on the screen. I forget. But do those things, and you can check the notes down below, or if my wonderful editor Lauren has figured out how, she probably knows how, to add links, check them out up here for my other social media. And let me know how you're doing during this quarantine. Feel free to send me a comment or send me an email, and I will do my very best to get back to you. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. I mean, I guess you could bend reality, but maybe we won't get into that today. Yeah, that feels like a weekend type thing. It's definitely Saturday.
It's definitely Saturday.
Yeah, well, hopefully you're watching this during the week. Anyway.
Are you always this articulate?
Hercules. My